Welcome back to AutoView Pro, where we take deep dives into the cars that move our world, and sometimes the cars that could shape the future. Today we're stepping into the realm of imagination and speculation with a model that has stirred plenty of conversations over the years, the Chevrolet Caprice. But not just any Caprice. We're going to take a look at what a 2026 Chevy Caprice could be if General Motors decided to bring back this iconic nameplate in a way that truly honors its legacy while propelling it into the modern era of performance, technology, and design. For those who may not know, the Caprice name has a long and storied history. It debuted in the mid-1960s as Chevrolet's top-of-the-line full-size car, positioned above the Impala. Through the 1970s and 1980s, the Caprice became a staple on American roads, known for its big, comfortable ride, its V8 power, and its reputation as a solid family sedan. Later, in the 1990s, it gained a new image as a favorite among police departments, taxi companies, and enthusiasts who appreciated its rear-wheel drive platform and rugged reliability. By the time production ended in the US in 1996, the Caprice had already cemented its place as one of Chevrolet's great nameplates. But the story didn't stop there. The Caprice lived on in other markets, most notably in Australia, where Holden produced versions that were rebadged as Caprices for export. American law enforcement even saw a revival of the name in the 2010s with the imported Holden Caprice PPV. Yet, despite these brief comebacks, the Caprice has never returned as a full-fledged consumer sedan in North America. That brings us to the big what if. What if Chevrolet decided that 2026 was the perfect time to revive the Caprice for a new era? What would it look like? What would it offer? And would it make sense in today's market dominated by SUVs, trucks, and electrification? Let's start with design. The Caprice of 2026 would need to walk a fine line between honoring its heritage and appealing to modern tastes. That means we probably wouldn't see the huge, boxy dimensions of the 1970s models or the bubble-like shape of the mid-1990s. Instead, imagine a sleek, full-size sedan with sharp body lines, a wide and assertive stance, and a fastback-style roofline that hints at sportiness while retaining its four-door practicality. Chevrolet could borrow cues from its current design language seen on models like the Malibu and the Corvette, but scaled up and refined for a flagship sedan. Up front, picture a bold grille that combines elegance with aggression as something wide and horizontal, with a mesh pattern and chrome or blacked-out trim depending on the trim level. Slim LED headlights would sweep back into the fenders, giving the car a high-tech look. Along the sides, we'd likely see a long wheelbase that emphasizes rear passenger comfort, with sculpted doors and flush door handles to improve aerodynamics. Around back, wraparound LED taillights would give a futuristic impression while echoing the quad-lamp design language that older Caprices used to carry. A subtle lip spoiler and dual exhaust outlets could hint at performance, while higher trims might show off quad exhaust tips or even diffuser-style accents. Now let's step interior. This is where the 2026 Caprice would need to truly shine. The Caprice was always known as a comfortable cruiser, and in today's market, a flagship sedan would need to deliver a premium experience. That means we're talking about high-quality materials like leather, real wood or aluminium accents, and soft-touch surfaces throughout. Expect a large digital display dominating the dashboard, possibly a curved panel combining both the instrument cluster and the infotainment system, similar to what Mercedes and BMW are offering. Technology would be a major selling point. The infotainment system would feature the latest iteration of Chevrolet's software with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, integrated navigation, and voice assistant features. A premium sound system, maybe something like a Bose or even a higher-end brand partnership, would be essential. Rear seat passengers would benefit from plenty of legroom, available rear infotainment screens, climate controls, and perhaps even reclining seats in higher trims. Ambient lighting, panoramic sunroofs, and customizable driver profiles would all help elevate the experience. Of course, we can't talk about a modern sedan without diving into powertrain options. This is where things get really interesting. On one hand, Chevrolet could stay traditional and offer gasoline engines ranging from a turbocharged 4-cylinder to a naturally aspirated or turbocharged V6, and maybe even a V8 for performance-oriented trims. The V8 would be a nod to the Caprice's heritage, giving enthusiasts a reason to get excited. But on the other hand, given the automotive industry's rapid shift toward electrification, it's just as likely, if not more so, that a 2026 Caprice would launch as a hybrid or fully electric sedan. If Chevrolet wanted to position the Caprice as a forward-looking flagship, a battery electric model would make perfect sense. Built on GM's Ultium platform, the Caprice F could deliver impressive range, somewhere in the ballpark of 350 to 400 miles on a full charge. Dual-motor all-wheel drive would be available, offering blistering acceleration, perhaps 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds for performance trims. Lower trims could feature a single-motor rear-wheel drive layout for efficiency and affordability. Fast charging capability would be standard, allowing drivers to add hundreds of miles of range in around 30 minutes at compatible stations. Let's talk trims. Chevrolet would likely follow a familiar structure, a base LT model offering plenty of standard features for value-conscious buyers, an LTZ or Premier trim focusing on luxury and comfort, and an SS trim aimed squarely at enthusiasts. The SS could bring back the spirit of the 1990s Impala SS and Caprice SS concepts with sporty styling, bigger wheels, performance-tuned suspension, Brembo brakes, and of course, either a high-output V8 or a dual-motor electric setup producing upwards of 500 horsepower. Imagine a Caprice SS that can take on rivals like the Dodge Charger or even performance Fs like the Tesla Model S. Now that would be something to talk about. Safety and driver assist technology would also play a huge role. The 2026 Caprice would almost certainly come standard with a suite of features like automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross-traffic alert. Higher trims might include semi-autonomous driving capabilities, building off of GM's Super Cruise system. With Super Cruise, drivers can enjoy hands-free driving on compatible highways, making the Caprice not just comfortable but also cutting-edge. Now, some might wonder, is there even room in the market for a sedan like this? After all, SUVs dominate the roads these days, and even long-standing sedans like the Impala have been discontinued. But that's exactly why a new Caprice could stand out. Instead of trying to compete with the sea of crossovers, Chevrolet could position the Caprice as a bold alternative, a statement car for those who still value the look, feel, and dynamics of a full-size sedan. Think about it. Dodge has kept the Charger alive and thriving, largely because it offers something different in a market flooded with SUVs. A modern Caprice could carve out a similar niche. Pricing would be key. A base Caprice LT might start around $40,000, making it competitive with mid-level SUVs while still accessible for sedan buyers. Mid-range trims could land in the $50,000 range, while the high-performance SS or fully loaded Premier could climb towards $65,000 or even $70,000. If an all-electric Caprice were to be offered, pricing could vary depending on battery size and performance, but Chevrolet would likely aim to undercut luxury F sedans while still delivering competitive features and performance. Beyond the car itself, the Caprice name carries emotional weight. For many, it recalls memories of family road trips, police cruisers patrolling neighborhoods, or even the era of big American sedans that defined a generation. Reviving the Caprice in 2026 would not only be about creating a new car but also about tapping into nostalgia in a way that feels authentic. That's why blending retro-inspired elements like subtle nods to the old quad taillights or a traditional SS Badger with futuristic design and technology would be such a powerful move. Now imagine the marketing campaign. Chevrolet could play heavily on the idea of rebirth and legacy. Commercials might show classic Caprices cruising through American streets before transitioning to the sleek new 2026 model, highlighting how the spirit of the car has endured across generations. Taglines like "The Legend Returns" or "Caprice, built for what's next" could resonate strongly. Enthusiast communities would likely buzz with excitement, and automotive media would have a field day dissecting every detail. Of course, no car is perfect, and the Caprice would face its share of challenges. Convincing buyers to return to sedans in an SUV-driven world would be tough. Competing with established luxury brands like BMW, Mercedes, and Tesla would require Chevrolet to deliver not just on specs but on overall quality, refinement, and customer experience. And if GM chose to make it an F, infrastructure and charging availability would remain hurdles for many buyers. But here's the thing: cars aren't just about practicality. They're about passion. The Caprice, throughout its history, has represented more than just transportation. It has represented American design, comfort, power, and presence. If brought back in 2026 with the right mix of tradition and innovation, it could do the same all over again, giving buyers an option that's bold, stylish, and undeniably Chevrolet. So, would a 2026 Chevy Caprice succeed? That's the million-dollar question. Personally, I think there's a strong case to be made. There's room in the market for a flagship sedan that's not only affordable compared to luxury brands but also dripping with heritage and character. The Caprice name has the credibility to pull it off, and GM has the technology to make it happen, whether that means a big V8 cruiser, a high-tech F, or maybe even both. At the end of the day, the Caprice has always been about presence. It's the kind of car that makes a statement, whether it's parked in your driveway, cruising down Main Street, or roaring down the highway. If Chevrolet can capture that essence in a 2026 revival, then we might just witness the return of one of the greatest American sedans of all time. And that wraps up our deep dive into what a 2026 Chevy Caprice could look like, feel like, and mean for the automotive world. Whether it's a futuristic F, a high-performance SS, or a luxury cruiser, one thing is certain: the Caprice name still carries weight, and imagining its return is as exciting as any confirmed release. Thanks for watching AutoView Pro. If you enjoyed this speculative journey into the future of Chevrolet, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Drop a comment below and let us know: would you buy a 2026 Caprice if Chevrolet built one? And what features would you want to see in it? Until next time, drive safe, stay curious, and keep your passion for cars alive.